Hi there, welcome to LSAT Demon Daily. I'm Erik Johansson, a teacher with LSAT Demon. With me is Nathan Fox, co-founder of LSATdemon.com and the weekly podcast Thinking LSAT. Today, an email from Anonymous with the subject, binding admission applications with full ride or partial scholarships.
Probably not. Probably don't do it. Probably benefits the schools more than it benefits you. What is their interest in this matter? You got to think about how these arrangements benefit them. Anyway, Anonymous says, hello, big fan of the Demon, and I was wondering what your thoughts are on binding applications that give you a full or partial scholarship if accepted. For example, UCLA has their Distinguished Scholars Program, and UC Berkeley has a similar program, which gives you about $100,000 if accepted. I understand your advice is to apply early, widely, and avoid binding, but I'm wondering how the guaranteed scholarship factors into your calculus. I would not say UCLA or Berkeley are my dream schools, and I think I have a decent shot at other T14s that align better with my career goals based on my LSAT and GPA, which are a 170, and I'm retaking, and a 3.99, which is damn good. However, says Anonymous, I'm worried about my ability to get a scholarship outside of these programs. I don't think I'll qualify for need-based aid on my parents' income, even though my parents will not be helping me pay for tuition or living expenses. And my resume is extremely normal, which makes me worried about getting merit aid. Should I apply binding or normal? Normal.
Yeah,
Don't
our
do
default
this.
presumption is normal. If you want to
Yeah.
hear from someone who is going to be attending UCLA as part of their Distinguished Scholars Program, check out the LSAT Success Story episode with LSAT Demon team member Amina. I think that actually published today, as Nathan and I are recording today.
Nice. What episode number is that?
That's episode 1023, 1023. Amina talks about going from 151 to 169 and landing a full ride to UCLA. But, you know, that's her hometown. She's from UCLA. UCLA is the best school in Los Angeles. Now she gets to stay close to home, going to an excellent law school and practice there. So I think, as with any early decision application you send in, you need to be completely sure that that is your number one, no questions asked law school. I would definitely go there for this and this and this reason. And I would
As
also
an LA
want to...
native, I mean, yeah, UCLA is the best law school within hundreds of miles. It's not the best law school in California. It's probably the third best law school in California after Stanford and Berkeley. But it's close to Berkeley in rankings. And it is, like that's in Los Angeles. UCLA is Masters of the Universe type of shit, right? It's the most important law school in the most important city in California. And that's big time. So I can see how it would be credibly like a legitimately number one, I'm willing to forsake all other offers. So it sounds like Amina did apply binding to get this scholarship.
I believe so. Yeah. We didn't talk about that so much in our episode together, but
the downside of that is that, I mean, that is a pretty scary bargain you're making, because you're like, okay, in exchange for what now? You're considering my application early, which how does that give me I'm not going to start school any earlier. So I don't really get much benefit out of that. I get some certainty about where I'm going to go. And I guess these scholarships, they try to claim that the scholarship, you wouldn't get the scholarship through normal admissions, but I just don't buy that, because I think that if they're going to admit, they have the option to just deny you. They have the option to also move you into the regular admission pool,
right?
Waitlist you. They can do whatever they want with you. So you're giving them all the power. And then if you do happen to get into Berkeley, like let's say you apply binding early decision to UCLA, but you get into Berkeley, then no matter what Berkeley even offers you, you're now obligated to deny them and go to UCLA.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think that they're not making you that offer unless they know that you're likely to get better offers elsewhere.
I'm looking at UCLA's 509 report right now, and they are giving 7% of their class, which is right now 77 total students, full tuition or more than full tuition scholarship. That number, of course, does not include people who might be functionally receiving a full tuition scholarship who are
in the more than full category. No, you
underreported.
can
Yeah.
literally get a full tuition scholarship and be reported as half to full.
Yeah. So the question is, like you said, Nathan, does this early decision option, is that really your only way of getting their best scholarship?
I don't think
And
so.
I would think at most schools the answer is no. There might be some schools, you'll have to do your research. There might be some schools where that is true. I know that there are definitely schools out there that give relatively few full rides. And those full rides are special scholarships that you have to apply to. Like those schools exist for sure. But it's not all of them, and often those are not tied to early decision programs. So yeah, I would be skeptical still of early decision.
Also, only apply binding early decision to one school. I mean, I think that
Yeah.
should probably go without saying,
Yeah.
because otherwise you have contractually obligated yourself to do an impossible thing. Like if you get into two schools that you applied early decision, binding early decision,
I wouldn't be surprised if there's something in the back end on the LSAC website that
but just
would
doesn't even let you do that.
disallow you.
Possibly.
I don't
Should.
know that for sure.
It certainly should. And there's
Yeah.
probably language in the agreement that says if you do this at more than one school, it's void or whatever.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you could end up with two contracts that just can't possibly both be executed.
This feels like some 1990s screwball comedy where someone is trying to attend two law schools at once.
Yeah. I just don't think it's to any student's advantage. And I certainly am not, from Anonymous's email, I'm not reading anything in here that makes me get away from my default presumption that this would only be bad for you. Like, you're retaking the LSAT off of a 170. That means that you think you can get something in the mid 170s or higher. You have a 3.99. I don't care what your resume looks like. If you apply with a 175, 3.9, reasonable letters of recommendation, reasonable personal statement, if it looks like you're going to be an employable, strong, responsible lawyer, I think you're going to get all kinds of offers from all over the place. And I just, they can deny you, by the way, when you apply early decision. So it feels to me like if you're not that good of an applicant that you weren't going to get offers elsewhere, then this is not going to make you get this offer anyway.
Probably not. And I would really just return to what Anonymous says in the middle of their email. I would not say UCLA or Berkeley are my dream law schools.
Right. Yeah. That should tell you the whole story right there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a school that you would prefer to go to, then you can't apply binding early decision anywhere because they can enforce these on you, or they can at least threaten to enforce them on you. Like the student who applied binding early decision to Hastings, then got into Berkeley, then asked Hastings for, can you please let me out of this? Because I got into Berkeley, which is a dream school. And they laughed at her. I mean, they were affronted. They acted like it was the biggest insult that she would even ask them to be let out of this contract. Yo, you applied binding. Is that really how you want to start your legal career? I mean, they take that shit very seriously, or at least they pretend to, because it's in their interest, because they've got you. They think they've got their hooks in you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I just don't see, like, even Berkeley. So Berkeley's program gives you about $100,000 if accepted. What's their tuition?
More than $100,000.
Right.
I think they give you slightly more than half for that.
So that's not good. I've seen Berkeley match scholarship offers. Like if you got into Columbia, for example, and if Columbia was giving you a full ride, Berkeley might look at that full ride and decide to match it.
Last I checked, I could be wrong, I think that number would be better than their average scholarship.
Well, who cares what their average scholarship is, right?
Sure.
I mean, we know that schools, like, what percentage of their class is discounted?
At Berkeley,
yeah.
100%. 7% get more than full, 0 get full tuition, 39% get half to full. So that's where you would land.
Well, and to be clear, if 39% get half to full, and would you say 7% get more than full?
Yeah.
So 39 plus 7 is 46%. It could be that 46% of the students at UC Berkeley got a letter that said, we are offering you a full tuition scholarship. The 39% in the half to full bucket could be getting a full tuition scholarship.
It could be based on their 75th percentile grant amount. I don't believe that that's what's happening, but based on the definition of full tuition scholarship that we now know exists on the 509, that, yeah.
So what's the 75th percentile grant amount?
37,240.
Okay. So it still, though, could be that 25% of the class is getting a full tuition scholarship.
Could be.
Yeah. Okay. It's just, you got to look.
We don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know. And that's part of what makes this all so difficult, is we just don't have transparent pricing info from these schools.
Be nice if the ABA 509 was expanded to just give us like deciles. Just, why don't you just say, here's the actual price paid. Show me the 90th percentile, 80th, 70th, 50th, whatever. Show me 10 buckets.
Yeah.
And what was the price paid in each of these buckets? We would start to get a much clearer idea of how much people are actually paying to go to these schools. Because they can do shenanigans when all I can see is these 75th, 50th, and 25th, and then the weird buckets that just seem designed for people to take advantage of them. I'm just not convinced that the 509 report is really like accomplishing its mission. Anyway, I can't imagine that binding early decision programs are helping Anonymous here. So hopefully we talked you out of it. I just don't see how it's in your best interest. If you apply broadly, then presumably they have to make their best offer to you in order to get you to go there. And if you apply binding early decision, then they don't care how broadly you might have applied, because they have a contract that says you have to withdraw all other applications.
Right.
Anything more?
Maybe, just as long as we're piling on, between the time that you apply and the time that you will, if you leave your options open, between the time you apply in the fall and the time you make a decision in the spring, a lot can happen that would change your decision making.
Oh, totally.
We've talked about that on the show before, but you might get a early decision back in November, and then by March realize, damn, some stuff in my life has changed, and now I really wish I was going to a different school. This would no longer be my top choice.
People get married, people get divorced, people have a kid, people's parents die, there's a global pandemic, there's climate change, there's like so much shit can change your perceptions. And I really would just encourage you to keep all your options open. This binding early decision is just a way of foreclosing options on yourself. And I guess to some extent, there is research that suggests that we're happier when we have less choice. And so,
three types of cereal to choose from and not 30 types of cereal to choose from.
Maybe there's a mental health benefit from these programs that we're, not giving enough weight to. But as far as just like maximizing the utility of your degree, minimizing the price that you're going to have to pay for this degree, I think it's clearly suboptimal to give away your right to choose.
Yeah. I think that says it. Thanks, Anonymous. Email daily@lsatdemon.com if you'd like to ask us a question or share some LSAT or law school admissions news. Thanks for listening.